Alright guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do is prime my face, and I'm going to be using this one from Tatcha. Just in case you are interested in this look, I created a video using the Natasha Denona Retro Palette. If you want to see how I created this look, I will link that video down below. I finished applying my primer and it has been a couple of minutes. I am going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury on this side right here, which is the 7 Neutral, and on this side I'm going to be using the Light Reflecting Foundation from Nars, and this one is in the shade of Barcelona. Let's go ahead and start with Charlotte Tilbury first because I remember loving that foundation. I remember also saying that this foundation definitely is a really good one when you use it with a brush. That is just my experience. Of course, you can go ahead and apply the foundation how you like it, but to my experience, I thought that it just applies so much better and it looks so beautiful on the skin with a brush. So I don't expect neither of these two foundations to give me full coverage because they don't claim to be full coverage. They're more like a skin care kind of foundation. They're both really lightweight on the skin and they give you a really nice medium coverage. It just really evens out my skin tone. I am going to add just a little bit more with my finger. I just added like half a pump. I'm going to add it to the areas that I need a little bit more coverage, which is on my sunspots, on the redness that I have around my nose, and the discoloration around my mouth, definitely my chin. So on this area right here. So here is the Charlotte Tilbury. As you can see, it's doing a really good job on covering my imperfections, especially just giving me a really nice healthy glow to the skin, as well as covering the redness, giving me a really nice even skin tone, as well as covering some of the sunspots that I have. It's not covering it 100%, but it's doing a really nice job on just disguising them a little bit more. Nars foundation, I went ahead and added some foundation in the back of my hand. I am going to add it with my fingers. This foundation, when I first tried it, it was just emphasizing my pores. It just settled into the lines of my forehead so badly, and that was just such a bad turn off for me with this foundation. But here I am just giving it another chance. I really wanted to try this foundation on my own, but you can't do it all. I am going to blend this foundation with a clean brush, and this is one of my favorite brushes to apply foundation with. I am going to add a little bit more around my nose. So I'm making sure that I don't add a lot of foundation on my forehead, just to make sure that I give it a good chance. And I really don't add a lot of foundation on my forehead in the first place, so I don't know why it did that. Maybe I actually added a little bit too much foundation on my forehead the first time that I tried it, but yeah, no. So I am going to add just a little bit more on this area right here because I do see my sunspots peeking through. So this is how the Nars foundation is looking like. Really nice coverage. I really do like how it just evens out my skin tone. It wasn't so hard to build up, and just adding it to the areas that I really was looking to just having a little bit more coverage, which is again on my sunspots, around my nose, a little bit more on my chin, and it really did a good job. It's also giving me a really nice glowy healthy look. Both of the foundations applied really nice and beautiful. It's just the way that they were that I wasn't really so in love with the Nars. But let's go ahead and go on with our day and see how they do, because this is going to be interesting. By the way, they are really looking the same shade on the skin, which is really interesting. Barcelona and 7N from Charlotte Tilbury. I am going to be using my Dior in 3N to add it to the inner part of my eyes, and just adding a little bit of concealer on the areas that I need a little bit more coverage, which is definitely under my eyes to cover this darkness, on my nose, just a little bit around my mouth. Alright guys, so here's the skin with concealer, powder, bronzer, blush, highlighter, and all of that good stuff. I already finished and I'm done with my makeup. So here's a little close-up. Once again, we have the Nars on the right hand side, which it will be on your left. But on this side, we have the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. And on this side, we have the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. So around 2 o'clock is when I finished putting my makeup on. Right, so now looking at the skin, I can tell you right now that I am definitely leaning a little bit more towards the Charlotte Tilbury, just because it's not emphasizing my texture at all. It's not emphasizing my pores at all, but I do see the Nars emphasizing my pores so much on this area right here. It's not settling on the lines on my forehead yet, but I will definitely keep an eye on that. I have to go and get some things done. I'm not going to be back until probably 9 o'clock at night, so that's in another 4 hours. I will be back and I will give you guys my final thoughts. All right guys, so it is about 9:35 right now, and here is the skin after a very long active day. Here we have the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, and on this side we have the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. So now that you guys seen the close-up of the face and how the foundation looks, I really hope that that was helpful to you guys. I have to say that both of these foundations act really similar to each other. The outer part of my face I absolutely love. I love the way it looks on both of them. They just look so nice and healthy and radiant, and you know, just really nice and like dewy, and I really enjoy that. But the center of my face, which is my T-zone, which is my problem area, is definitely something that I have to be really picky with my foundations, or like touch up, or just if I am going to be going to an event that I know that is going to be more than 8 hours, I definitely will not pick any of these two foundations. I will pick a different foundation just because I know my skin type. Now, if I am going to be quite honest and compare these two right here and pick one, I will have to pick the Charlotte Tilbury, just because I do see that it blurs a little bit more of my pores, my imperfections. It doesn't sink into my pores. It's not emphasizing anything. So I do still see my pores. It's just not being emphasized. However, the Nars is emphasizing every single pore that I have around my mouth. It is definitely sinking into my smile line, which I've never seen this line right here so intense, and that is definitely a turn off for me. Is not sinking into my forehead lines because I was really careful in applying a little bit of foundation this time around. I just wanted to be very careful with the application of this foundation. I just didn't want to overdo it and end up having my lines just really being emphasized. However, I do see that it's just really caking up on this area right here, and it's just sinking into this line, which is new to me. I've never seen a foundation or any foundations that I've used in the past just sinking into this line right here. So yeah, definitely not for me, the Nars. I really wanted to love it because I love so many of the Nars foundations. Like, I absolutely love so many of Nars foundations. They just have such a good complexion products, but this product right here, this foundation in particular, is just not for me. Since I've been purchasing so many foundations, I'd rather use other ones, and this one over this one for sure. So I hope that this video was helpful to you guys, especially if you were on the fence of purchasing a foundation. So I hope that I was able to help you in making a good decision for you. And yeah, you can always go to Sephora and ask for samples, because you know, you can also do that. So yeah, that is it guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your love, your time, and support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you next time. Bye.